In this video, we're going to take a look at the Pilot Elite 95S. Let's begin with the end, my thoughts on this pen. Pocket-sized pens are an interesting category within fountain pens, and I do find that I carry this one quite frequently, even though the Brass Sport is my most common pocket pen. I tend to rotate this one in kind of by season because I enjoy using both of them. Now, while I enjoy the both of them, I do find this one more agreeable to me. And it's completely about the nib. I find this nib to be much softer to write with than the smaller Sport nib. I don't mind that it has to be posted to write. That's a trade-off that you get with pocket-sized pens. I find it to have the perfect amount of feedback, to really have no issue in ink flow. If I was to say anything about this pen, mine is in a medium, and I wish I had it in a fine. And that just has to do with the situations that you more commonly need a pocket pen for, which is probably the reason I carry the Brass Sport a little more than this, though I really, really like this pen. I am partial to Pilot pens, though. Now that we know how I feel about the Pilot E95S, let's see how I got to that opinion, starting with the unboxing. The Pilot E95S came in a box like this, which contained a box like this. It came in that okay box that had the kind of window in it, and I don't know, it just felt like cheaper packaging from what Pilot normally does. And while I won't hold it against them, I was a little disappointed with this box. With the pen out of the box, we need to get to the nib. Now, as long as it doesn't take 20 turns to uncap a pen, I generally don't care. So, how many turns does it take to uncap this pen? The Pilot Elite 95S is a pull cap. This is naturally a pen that uncaps easily, and the only thing slowing you down as a note taker jotting quick notes is the need to post it. So I don't see it, although it uncaps quickly, being a great pen for a student just jotting some notes in class. I would choose something different for that. This gets us to the nib. This pen has a gold medium nib. The way the nib is set into the pen makes this very interesting to look at and to use. And to be honest, I really do like it and got this as the safer, as in cheaper alternative to the Mew that they had, which I am very interested in, just not to put that money out. If you enjoy videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, let's ink this pen up. The Pilot E95S is a proprietary cartridge or converter pen that holds approximately 0.6 milliliters of ink in this Con 40. The ink for today is Lamy Peridot. Only complaint I can have about the filling is if you choose to use a converter, then it's harder to see that you've actually filled the pen because it covers so much of the converter with the housing of the body itself. Now, if you're using cartridges, not as big a deal, but still a little harder to see when you're running out. As a habit, I don't normally post my pens, but some pens need to be posted to be used comfortably, and some people prefer to post their pens. This pen pretty much has to be posted unless you had very tiny hands. It's really, while it comes a little farther into the web, it's just not comfortable to write with unposted. It posts very securely. It's supposed to be. It's a pocket-sized pen, and it works perfectly posted. Now, the important part, the writing sample. This is probably the only pocket pen that I can sit and write 6, 7, 8 pages at a time, of course refilling the pen, and not have any kind of issues where I feel any hand fatigue at an extreme amount of pages. I find it's very comfortable in my hand entirely. The fact that it doesn't have sort of a dedicated section is not a problem. It makes it very smooth in that area to hold on to, which is kind of refreshing in fountain pens, where normally you feel that dedicated section area. Not so much here. It's girthy enough and it's heavy enough that you don't have to hold on to it stronger, where sometimes with pens that are super light, I'll have a tendency to want to hold on to them a little bit tighter. Not so much here. I get to just have it rest in my hand and let the rest of the writing happen. As I said, the feedback while I'm writing is perfect with this. And to be fair, I frequently find that the case with Pilot pens. And that's because I am a Pilot fanboy, and I won't deny it. I have found through my using of their pens that I really enjoy their nibs. So I think the writing experience that you're going to get from this pen is fantastic, and you're going to get a nice gold nib on a very affordable pen. It does surprise me that not more people are attracted to this as compared to the Kaweco. That being said, part of the reason would be because there's a very limited color selection for this pen, and I would like to see a lot more colors available from them. Perhaps even seasonal colors, and get involved in that seasonal game that so many manufacturers are in. I think they've got a winner here for it if they just market it. Now for something a bit more standard in comparing writing size. I use Mnemosyne Blue to do this, and here's how it compares to a Jowo Extra Fine on the left, a medium in the middle, and a 1.1 stub on the right. I do find that my particular pen is a little broader than most other Japanese mediums, but it's not much broader. It's not quite up to a Western medium. It is a little thicker than a Japanese medium, though. I still enjoy this writing. So how does this nib compare to other nibs I've used? Looking at the writing of a Pilot E95S with a medium nib, here it is next to a Cross Bailey with a medium nib. A Pelican M1000 with a fine nib. A Lamy 2000 with a medium nib. A fountain pen Revolution Japer with their broad nib. And a Duke 209 with a Fude nib, which obviously is writing very upright. So it isn't a review without some size comparisons. Here it is capped. Here it is uncapped. And here it is posted. Having seen the size comparisons, it's most important to be paying attention to its size while posted. It becomes a very nice full-size pen, nowhere near an oversized, just an average size pen once it's posted. It is not as small as the Sport when it is capped. Although that's not a real problem to me, it does go in a shirt pocket much nicer than the Sport does. At this point, we have a dirty pen that we need to go ahead and clean. Be sure to check out the next pen review where we take a look at the Lamy Safari.
Did you try and order a bunch of sample vials off of Amazon and maybe get the wrong thing? Well, have I got good news for you? So did I, and this is too small. You'll never get a pen in there. You can use these ink vials to give ink to people that you don't actually want them to try it. For the low price of $19.95, you can have one that you'll never be able to use today.
If you want to be able to support not just my channel, but any reviewer, then when you make a purchase, be sure to tell that retailer where you heard about it. Thanks for watching.